Hi guys. Those of you who don't know who I am Morena. My name is Morena. In the next series of videos, what we're going to do, I'm going to show you. I'll create short videos. I'm going to show you one how to create a virtual machine using Hyper-V. And then I'll move on to how to set up or configure the static IP addresses, how to change the name of the server. I will, but first we will install Windows Server 2016, and then we will change the name, and then we will change the IP addresses, set the DNS and the gateway. From there, we will install Active Directory and promote our server to be a domain controller. Right? And then the next video after that, I will show you how to install the DHCP server. Right? I'm going to make these videos very short. Hopefully, all of them will be less than 10 minutes. Then we will configure the DHCP server. We will configure our scope and set the default gateway and preferred DNS. And then the next video after that, after configuring the DHCP server, we will look into the organizational units. Organizational units, we will create groups, we will create users and add our users to different groups and different organizational units. All right. Then next video, which will be the fourth video, what we will do is we will create a client. We will install Windows 10 on our client machine. So in other words, we're going to have two computers, but we're going to start with the server. Then we will create another machine and install Windows 10 on that machine. And then after that, we will configure our machine to obtain automatic address, IP address from the DHCP server. In other words, we will join it to the domain and we will configure it to get its address from the DHCP server. Okay. One other thing that I would like us to do is to map the home address to the assigned drive letter. You will see we will either use drive W, drive X. We will just choose when we get there, right? And then lastly, what we will do is we will test if our users can log in to the domain and can access our domain. All right, let's get this ball rolling. I already have the Hyper-V Manager opened. If you don't know how to open it, you can click on the search box here and then type Hyper-V. Remember, you need to enable the Hyper-V feature first before you can get this. Okay, then you can click there, then the Hyper-V Manager will open. Okay, guys. All right. Now, the first thing that you're going to do is to create a virtual machine. Right? Now, on the Hyper-V Manager, you can click on Action and click on New, and then you will get options there. You can either create virtual machine, hard disk, and floppy disk. I don't know why it is still there, but we no longer use floppy disk, so you don't have to worry yourself about that. You have the action pane again on the right, towards the right here. Then you can click on New. That's what we're going to do. Now we'll click on New, and then we'll choose virtual machine. And then we'll have new virtual machine wizard. Okay. Basically here what you see, it's before you begin screen. We're just gonna go next. And then the next screen, then we need to give our machine a name. And then I said we're going to start with the server. We will name this server, say task 1 server. Okay, that will be task 1 server. Over here, you have an option of storing the virtual machine in a different location. Right now, it is stored in C drive, program data, Microsoft Windows, Hyper-V. Therefore, your virtual machine, which is task 1 server, will be stored under this folder. So when you go to this path, you can find your machines there, but I'm not going to change anything then. I'll click on next. Now, at this point, you need to specify the generations. We have generations 1. This virtual machine generation supports 32-bit and 64-bit guest operating systems and provides virtual hardware which has been available in all previous versions of Hyper-V. Right, we're going to use generation 2. Right, what happens in generation 2 is it provides support for newer virtualization features, has the UEFI based firmware, and requires a supported 64-bit guest operating system. So we're going to use 64-bit operating system. Go next. Now, this is very important. Now, we're going to give our machine the memory, the RAM. Now, when you assign the RAM to a virtual machine, you need to take in consideration the RAM of your physical machine, the host. Remember, once you run this machine, whatever you give your virtual machine, the RAM that you're going to provide to a virtual machine, it will actually consume the RAM of your physical machine. Now, why is this important? It is important because should you give your virtual machine a lot of RAM, now you are going to slow down their physical machine. Okay, whenever this machine is up, remember that amount of RAM will be allocated to the virtual machine, and you're going to run low on RAM on your physical machine. So it is very important to know the RAM specification on your physical machine. I will give it 2 gig. So 2 gig will be 248 megabytes. And then I will go next. Now, this is where we configure the networking. Now, in order for you to configure the networking, you will have created a virtual switch. I already have one virtual switch, which is called task 1, and then we have the default one. Okay, what I will do is I will create another video on how to create a switch. But for now, I will connect my machine to this switch, task 1. You can choose not to connect now, you can connect later, but I will connect it either way. If you don't have it, it's fine. You can choose not to connect now. Then I will show you how to connect it later. Then we'll go next. In the very same way that RAM is important, the consideration that you must take when you provide RAM, in the very same way you must consider your physical machine hard drive capacity. Whatever you're going to provide here, remember, all the resources that you provide your virtual machine with is actually going to consume the resources from the physical machine. I have enough, so I can give it 60. I think that will be enough to run the Server 2016, Windows Server 2016. As you can see here, we have the name of the server and the extension of the hard drive there. It's VHDX. And the hard drive will be stored in the same, no, this is not the same path as your virtual machine. It will be stored in users, public, documents, and virtual hard disk. You can choose to save your hard disk somewhere else, but then at this stage I'm going to leave it as is. Then I'll go next. Now you can choose to install the operating system later or install an operating system from bootable image. Now you need to know the location of your image. I know where is mine, therefore I'll click here and then I'll go browse. It's mine is on the desktop under the folder named ISO. Then I will have these operating system here. I'm searching for this image. Now, as we can see, we're going to install Windows Server Standard Core, and it's a data center core. 2016, which is, remember we talked about 64-bit. We talked about the second generation, which allows you to install the 64-bit operating systems. Therefore, we're going to choose that one, and then we're going to open. And then you will go next, and then your summary will show here. Now, what is in the summary? We have the name. This is the name of your server. We have the generation that, remember that we chose generation 2. We have the memory capacity, the RAM. We chose 248 megabytes. Is it network? Yes, it is. Remember, we chose task 1. This is our virtual switch. Had we chosen not to connect now, then we will see here not connected. And then this is the path to our hard drive. And then this is the operating system that we're going to install. And you can click on finish. And the machine will be created. As you can see now, we have one machine there. The name is task 17. The state is off. So your CPU is not being used. It will start to be utilized when you start the machine. The assigned memory, you cannot see it because the machine is off. As soon as we start this machine, as soon as we turn it on, you will see that the memory that we assigned, and then you'll see things like uptime, status, and configuration. Now that is how we create a virtual machine. Okay, guys, that is how we create a virtual machine. At this moment, what I would like to do is to show you how to create a switch. Remember, I said you can create a machine without connecting it to the network. So if we chose that option of not connected, now we would come here and click on Virtual Switch Manager. Okay, and then you will see that we will have, this is the switch that we already have. We have task 1 that I created, which is internal switch, and then we have the default one. Okay, it's fine. We need to create new virtual network switch. Now we have options. We have external, which creates a virtual switch that binds to the physical network adapter so that virtual switches can access the physical network. So in other words, this will access the network that your physical machine is connected to. Okay, and then we have the internal one. Now, the internal one creates a virtual switch that can be used only by virtual machines that run on this physical computer. In other words, it does not connect to the physical network. Okay, it only creates the switch that will be used by the machines that run on this physical machine that I'm using. All right, I'm gonna sip on my tea there. Right, and between the virtual machines and the physical computer. In other words, your virtual machine should be connected to the same network, and you can connect the physical computer to your virtual machines. An internal virtual switch does not provide connectivity to the physical network. In other words, it does not take you to the physical network. It is very important. And then lastly, we have private. Now, you will click on internal, for example, and then you click on create. You will give your switch a name. Remember, I named mine task 1. You can name it whatever you want to, but what is usually encouraged is when you name your resources, either be a virtual machine, virtual switch, give them a meaningful name. Okay, the one that I created, I gave it task 1 because I was going to use it in task 1. Okay, can say task 2 for an example, and then it's an internal, and then you can apply, and then you'll see it will appear on the switches here, which is task 2, internal only, and then you can click OK. Very quickly, now how do we connect that switch to our machine? Right? Remember, you don't have to do this because our computer is already connected to the switch. But just to show you how to do that, you go to settings of the virtual machine, and then you can choose your network adapter here. Right? In this case, it is connected to task 1. Remember, it is already connected, but you can click on this virtual switch and change the switches as you want to. Okay, fine. We'll connect it to virtual switch 2, apply, and OK. That is how we connect our now machines to the network. That is how we connect them to the switches and how we create switches. All right, I'm going to stop this video right here. I will see you on the next video where we will be installing Windows Server 2016. We're going to start this machine so that it can install. At the moment, it has not installed anything. The image is there. It's ready to be installed. Okay, guys? Right.